Yo, what's up guys, this is EvoZims and you're watching episode 5 of my Java coding series. So in this video, we're going to be coding up the program that we were talking about in the previous video. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. Hope you guys enjoy it, and without further ado, let's just get straight into it. We're going to be making a short little program just to sum up everything and kind of show you guys exactly what the heck we're supposed to be doing. So this is going to be a program which you can probably show your parents or whatever if you feel like it. So we're going to be making a tax calculator. All right, so it's going to be like calculating tax on certain items and products. So I'm going to have this. Let's make this an integer. We'll make these integers again. And I'm going to put this into the GitHub repository. It's a depository. We're going to put that in the GitHub depository. I said it again, repository. And you guys are going to be able to download this entire code and just use it if you want. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so that's that. And now we're going to be making a brand new tax calculator. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to close this little thing. Test has been modified. Actually, if we're not going to use the same class, I'll just keep this here. Okay, so now in the demo little package we have, we're going to make a new class. This is going to be the tax calculator. And oh yeah, class names cannot have a space in them, so make sure you do that. Calculator. It's like 2:30 in the morning right now, so I literally cannot think. Tax calculator already done. Now let's click finish. All right, tax calculator. And now we need the main method. What's cool about Eclipse though is that you actually don't have to memorize the main method. All you have to do is type in main, control space, and the main method is right there. All right, so that's that. Very cool. And now what we're going to do is at the top over here, what I usually like to do is give some comments. I'm going to do this backslash with a asterisk and then press enter a bunch of times. All right, so it's like it autofills these stars for you. And so what you want to do now is type in something like the author. This is your name, obviously, and then the description, like what is this code? You know, Java program, and then date, Java program, tax calculator, right? Date is 10/15, 2017. My birthday's in 2 days. Whew, gonna be 21. Sick. All right. Anyway, so you can add whatever you want, any kind of details on the programs. This is pretty much for your information. If you ever want to go back to your old pieces of code, you can go check them out and be like, oh dude, I made this, holy crap, this is so cool. If you guys want to ever update it, you can put updates, you know, version, I'm gonna call this version, you know, 1.0.0. And then if you want to have a change logs basically are things like you know, whatever you're going to change in the program, you can type it out. What's the issue here? It's not correctly spelled, really. That doesn't matter. So yeah, you can pretty much just say, all right, so I updated, or really just updated the file name, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? This is a simple program, so there's not going to be much updating to do. We're going to be finishing it in this video, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so the first thing I want you guys to do is, well, we got to have a prompt, some kind of thing. What is this program supposed to do? That's pretty much going to be in the description. So this program will be able to calculate how much an item will cost. Very simple, right? So I'm gonna have to give you guys a little bit of information. So the first thing, you wouldn't normally do this in your code, or I just have to type it out because how else are we gonna code something like this? Let's say we had a product. The product was, what's new nowadays? I guess the iPhone 10. The iPhone 10 is worth what, $1,000? So the iPhone 10 is worth $1,000. Cool. Now, what we want to do is find out how much this phone would cost along with the tax. it's gonna give us, well, I guess it wouldn't be a tax calculator. It would be more like a, what is it called? Price calculator, right? It takes in the tax to kind of just figure out how much it would normally cost. You wouldn't normally want to change the name like that. You would actually just right click, go to refactor, and then hit rename. That'll allow you to change the name. I just did it by pressing Ctrl-Shift-R. That allows me to rename it without having to do all that. So yeah, it's a price calculator, all right? Simple. Because I know the people in the comments are gonna go crazy, like, yeah, no, that's not tax calculator. It's supposed to, you know, calculate the whole information, whatever. Anyway, so we have a phone, iPhone X, it's $1,000, and we have to have a rate of tax. In California, where I live, I think the tax is like 9.75. I think. I'm actually not even gonna check right now. It doesn't matter. Just assume that the tax is like this, and this is in percentage, of course. So what you want to do now is kind of just figure out the question. The question is, how much money would I have to pay if I bought 5 iPhone 10s, right? Yeah. Cool, right? So this is the question. Now, how are we going to do this? This is going to be crazy, right? So what we're going to do is first create an iPhone variable, all right? So we haven't, wait, so now you're thinking, you know, a couple data types, right? Let me go bring that up one more time. Here we go. Now we have data types to use. Which one are we going to use? I haven't shown you guys this one yet, so don't worry about them. Well, int and double. The iPhone X price is $1,000 flat. It's not, you know, $1,095, $1,000 and, you know, 25 cents. It's not. So we're going to use an integer because we don't have any decimals. Very simple, right? You guys already know this. Integer. You wouldn't type in integer, by the way. I don't know if I explained that. That should be obvious to you because it's not color coded and also has a little error. All right. So int. And then we're going to call this the iPhone, right? Also, by the way, do not capitalize the first letter in any variable name. This actually helps. This actually works out for us because the P in the phone is not capitalized. But yeah, you just don't capitalize the first letter. And then you have the equals 1,000 because that's how much it costs. Very simple. All right, so now we have to do something with that iPhone. Well, what are we going to do? Well, if you're kind of confused, just, you know what? Print it out. Print it out. You know what? Just print this out. All this stuff isn't read by the program, by the way. Only this stuff is going to be read by the program. We're going to run. All right, the console's over here again. Let's bring it down. And as expected, let me scroll down over here. Run this part. As expected, we see that it is $1,000, right? This is all we did. All we did is initialize the iPhone variable and then printed out the iPhone variable. Very simple. Okay, so now we're gonna do one thing. Well, when you're calculating tax, if you guys didn't know how to calculate tax, all you actually have to do is multiply the price of the product, which is $1,000, and then we multiply it by the tax value over here. Now, tax value is a little weird. I'm actually just gonna make it like 9%, just to make it simple. 9% is a lot simpler for you guys. So we can't obviously multiply by 9. That doesn't make any sense, actually. You have to convert this into a decimal number. You can never multiply a regular whole number with a percentage number. That's not even a number. In order to do that, you would actually have to divide 9 by 100. 9 divided by 100 is 0.09. So what you want to do now is multiply 1,000 times 0.09. Very simple, right? So all we did was we got the tax and we did 9 divided by, what is it called? 100. God, I'm so tired right now. And we got 0.09, right? So that number, that X value, whatever the number is, I don't know what it is. Obviously I know that it is 0.09, but just assume that you didn't know what it was. So that number is going to be used to calculate the tax. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. Press equals, and that's $90. So If you bought an iPhone X, or sorry, iPhone 10, you would have to pay at least $90 in tax, assuming that you're in California and the tax rate was 9.75. You would have to pay for you'd have to pay $1,090. So that's pretty standard, right? That makes complete sense. So let's say the tax rate was, 9. That's what we gave. That's what we were given. Tax rate was 9. We're not going to put in 0.09. All right. I'm going to show you guys why we're not going to put this in, because this is kind of like cheating. We're not going to do that. We're going to put in 9. We're going to make the calculator calculate it for us. This is the calculator program, right? So we have to make it calculate absolutely everything. This is also an integer. Do not forget the primitive data type. Okay, so we have the iPhone and we also have a tax rate. We haven't done anything to them. We're just initializing them. We're creating them. That's the same thing as initializing, by the way. All right, and now finally we're going to make this tax rate a decimal value so that we can multiply it with this. All right, now you're thinking, wait a minute, if we're using decimal values, we can't have an integer, right? Well, if you were thinking that, you're correct. So you don't want to have an integer here. So what we're going to do is create another value. I was going to say nubble instead of, never mind. So tax rate, I'm going to call this tax rate in decimal, right? You could have really long annoying variables like that. It's fine. The more precise you are, the better. Like if I just named this X and some random person came and checked this, they'd be like, wait, what the heck is X, So it's very, very important that you make sure you're as specific as possible in your variable names. All right, so tax rate in decimal is going to be tax rate. Tax rate is 9 right here. Don't get confused by this. It's very simple. Tax rate divided by, what did we say we had to do before? Do you remember? We're going to do it one more time. Whenever you want to convert a percentage into a whole number or a decimal value, it's going to be 9 divided by 100, always 100. So let's say you had, for example, like if this was 8, if this was 8, if this was 7, if this was 8, if this was 100, if this was like 90, whatever it is, you just divide it by 100 and you get the value. So let's say if it was 90 divided by 100, you get 0.9. Very, very simple. So in this case, it is 9, so we're going to divide it by 100. You get 0.09. Now we don't care about the 0.09. We're going to let this program do it for us. So tax rate divided by 100, semicolon. All right, so we know in our head that the 0.09 is going to be in here, right? Because we know the answer to 9, which is tax rate. See, when you're doing programming like this, when you're coding, you actually have to be very good at memorizing. You have to know exactly what's going to happen whenever you type something. This stuff is simple. It's very, very easy to realize that, iPhone's $1,000. Tax rate is $9, but then you have to get into the little bit of like formulas and stuff like that. This formula writing is part of being a good programmer. You have to know this stuff. This is also called logic. Your logic needs to be correct. Let's say I did this and made that my tax rate in decimal. This is completely wrong and would give us the wrong answer altogether. That's a logical error. You're not going to find any errors in like, oh, the Eclipse is not going to be like, oh, error, I just changed this. No, it doesn't know. It has no idea that that's an error. Because of that, it's called a logic error. There are many different types of errors in coding in general. So like if I didn't have a punctuation mark here, you get an error on Eclipse, and this is actually called a syntax error. All right, it's not a logic error because it actually has like some kind of error with the punctuation. That's how I like to think of it. So syntax error, there's logic error, and there's also a runtime error. Runtime errors we'll get into another video, but they pretty much are essentially errors that you get when you're running a program, while you're running the program. Pretty crazy. All right, so now we have this kind of stuff. So in your head, you have to be able to do the math. The math is 9 divided by 100, which is 0.09. If you didn't know that, it doesn't matter. This thing is doing it for you. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we have the tax rate in decimal. All right. Usually whenever you do programs like this, you actually need to do them on paper first to have the whole thing planned out, and then you code it up. Just have the math done and then you code up the program. All right. So a lot of tips here and there. Hopefully you guys are understanding it. I know the video is getting a little long, so I'm going to be ending it as fast as I can. So now we have the tax rate in decimal, right? So what we're going to go ahead and do is use that tax rate in decimal. This is a 0.09. And then we have to multiply that with the iPhone price, right? So integer, it's going to be the tax rate in decimal multiplied by iPhone. I have to create a variable name right now, so I'm thinking of a name. I'm just going to call it X because I don't know what to call it right now. Tax rate in decimal multiplied by the iPhone price. Look how I'm not using 1000, because what if Apple, you know, in a couple years or maybe next year changed this price to 900? This program wouldn't work anymore. So that would be bad. You just want to keep it to iPhone. I don't want to change this to just 1000. I want to do iPhone instead. Always use your variables. If you have those yellow values, like if this was yellow, like the Eclipse is giving you an error saying that, hey, you're not using this variable, well, you have a problem. You better be using the variables that you're creating. Otherwise, why create them? Because it just hogs power and CPU processing. All right. So you don't want to, you know, just create unnecessary variables and unnecessary code. If you have that, then it's going to be bad for your CPU. In this case, it's so minuscule, it wouldn't even matter. You can make a freaking like 100 integers and it wouldn't even matter. But later, when you make a bunch of them, like I'm talking thousands of different types of variables that are going to be used, yeah, you need to make sure you're using exactly what you need. You're only using what you need. Okay, so the formula for this is tax rate in decimal multiplied by the price of the iPhone, which is just iPhone. Okay. And this is going to get us a value that is a double value. Actually, it's a decimal value, right? Because 0.09 is obviously a decimal value. I don't know how someone wouldn't get that though. Like if this is 1, that's not a decimal value. Decimal value means it has a decimal in it, right? Simple. Okay. So we have the formulas right next to each other. I also put the initialized variables right next to each other, a little bit of formatting. And now what we're finally going to do is, now we have this value. What is this going to give us now? What is X? This is going to give us the total price, right? Well, actually it's going to give us the tax. This is going to give us the tax. Total tax. Let's call it total tax. See, this is kind of how it is. You just kind of have to figure out how you want to do it. Now, this is going to give us the total tax, which is going to be 90. Now, if I printed out 90, if I printed out total tax, let's see what happened. Always save your program and test it out while you're doing it. You should always be like, if you don't know what the heck is going to happen to that like tax rate in decimal, print it out. Just do it. Save yourself a lot of time. Make sure that you have the right, I'll just control space. Make sure you have the right formulas. If you don't, just, Google it, figure it out, write it on a piece of paper, do whatever you have to do to figure it out. So I'm going to comment this out first and just see what total tax is giving me. Total tax is giving me 90 as we expected. Perfect. That's good. That means tax rate in decimal is giving us exactly what we want, which is 0.09. 0.09 right over here. Very, very good. By the way, if we had this as integers, I'm going to show you guys why exactly you have to use the correct values. This is why you absolutely need to make sure that you're using the correct data type value. You have to know which ones you have to use. And it's very simple. If the answer is going to be a decimal, you use a decimal. Very simple, right? If you're using a decimal, then it should be a double. If there are no integer, so if there are no doubles or anything like that, then you would do that. You might be asking, wait, Evo, there is an integer here, but using a double here, can you do that? Yes, you technically can still do that. That's just how it is. You can find out all the little nitty-gritty stuff about Java, and like if you Google it, but I won't be explaining that right now. Okay, so let's continue. Total tax. Finally, what do we do with total tax, which was 90? 90, you add that to the iPhone's price. So int total price. Well, yeah, this would have to be a double. Total price is equal to total tax plus the iPhone's cost. That's going to give us the total price of the phone that you're buying. Int double, you can't have two data types. That's funny. CISO, total price. Done. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and save that and output it. And now we have the total price of one iPhone, which is $1,090. Great, but the program asked, how much money would I have to pay if I bought 5 iPhone X's? Oh God. Now what do? Do we make this 5,000? The cost of one phone is 5,000? Technically, this would give us the right answer when you think about it, right? It would just be 1,090, which is one iPhone, times 5. What the hell did I? Never mind, I just typed that wrong. 1090 times 5, which is 5450. Technically, this is correct. We're cheating though. The price of an iPhone is not $1,000 or $5,000. You don't want to cheat that way. So what you're gonna do is, one way you could do this, obviously you can consider that there are so many ways to do this, but the one way you should be doing this is you should get the total price of that one iPhone, total price of 5 iPhones. I don't know if I said this before, but you do have to capitalize the letters in every, okay, so look, you can't have spaces in your variable names. You can't do this. However, you can have combined like letters and words, so they can be next to each other. So when you do that, it kind of looks a little like mushed together, and it doesn't really look very visible when you just look at it. So the best way to do this is to simply have every word's first letter capitalized. So if I wanted to do like, you know, Eclipse and blah and hi and, you know, boop and group, whatever, every single first letter needs to be capitalized, okay? So yeah, make sure you do that. So this is gonna be the total price of 5 iPhones. All right, I probably wouldn't be naming it that, but for now we'll just do that. And it's gonna be total price times 5. You see that? So now we're gonna save that. It says we're not doing anything with this. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, we're not supposed to be printing out just one. We have to print out this one, which is all 5. Total price of, I'm not gonna type it all out, control space. Total price of all iPhones. Make sure you use the right variable. Okay. And run. 5450. That is how we do this program. Whoa, what you doing? Crazy. All right. So that's pretty much it for this. Hopefully you guys understood at least a little bit. I know the video was kind of long. Hopefully you guys can bear with that. But this is a really, really nice example of, you know, how to work with variables and stuff like that. How a coder is going to really think and stuff like that. We talked about variables. We talked about primitive data types, you know, which ones to use and when, why you would use them. We talked a little bit about formatting. Some, you know, naming conventions. Naming conventions basically means that what things are capitalized, what things don't require spaces and stuff like that. Like you would not want to have a space here. And make sure these things are the same. Like if you have tax rate and the R is capitalized, this also has to be capitalized. If not, then you have a problem here. It's like, wait, this is not a variable. It's not a variable. It doesn't exist. Well, it is a variable. It's just isn't spelled correctly. So, you know what I'm saying? You have to make sure that is all correct. So what I want you guys to do is try to recreate this yourself if possible. Try to do it on your own. Don't look at this. If you need help, definitely go ahead and look at it. But for the most part, try to do this on your own. Mix it up a little bit. If you guys have something else, maybe like a Nintendo Switch, PS4, you know, PC, keyboard, whatever you want. Mix it up with the taxes. What if you wanted to use that 9.75 tax? What if you wanted to do that? It'd be a little weird, but you could do it. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I think in the next video we'll probably be going a little bit more into detail with how we can do this. I'm gonna be showing you guys how to do user input. Like, let's say some guy wanted to enter their tax value or iPhone price or something like that. I'm gonna show you guys how to do something like that. It's gonna be really, really cool. And then we'll do like a menu system, like a like legitimate program where someone could open up, go into a menu, and just like type in whatever they want, and then get some answers, get the calculations, and then that program you can use to, like, I don't know, show your teachers and friends and family. You can go show your mom that and be like, hey mom, I know how to calculate the price of your iPhone without having to actually know it, you know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. Anyway, so that's pretty much it once again for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. I also want to say one last thing. If you guys want to join my Discord server, you can definitely do so. The link is going to be in the description. I can help you guys on any kind of issues you might have. If you guys didn't understand something, if I didn't say something right, I mean, it's like what, 3 a.m. right now, so I probably have said something stupid that was probably incorrect, so please bear with me for that. And I do want to give one last shout out to actually my buddy over here, Plugin Stuff, aka Average YouTube. This guy was the reason why this video is coming out right now at this late at night. He literally forced me, well, he actually pressured me so much to make a new video because he really wanted to see a new video. So I was really inspired by that, his tenacity, and, you know, how much he wanted to learn, like, the next, you know, thing in coding in Java. So there you go, man. This is for you. This video is definitely directed for you, man. Hopefully you enjoy it. I made it as long as possible so you can, you know, go over as many times as you want. And yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.